So it's now spreading to even more states, and it looks like the FBI is completely powerless to stop it. So the FBI is ringing the alarm bell as this crisis may have escalated to a whole nother level. Now we all have to think about this border in Texas being the main concern for many Americans, given the fact that we're seeing lots of military-aged men coming through the border like there's no tomorrow. However, that may very well be changing. So the concern is now rising in many different states like California, Arizona, and Colorado, just to name a few. To make matters even worse though, this entire crisis seems to be creating even more division between Americans. Unfortunately, a division that none of us need at all.
A small but fervent group of people rallied to take the border back in South Texas.
I think we all as a nation want this to end, both Democrats and Republicans.
The gathering was part religious revival and part Trump rally.
We need God to fix this because we can't fix this.
We don't know who these people are. They could be our enemies.
The rally happened near Eagle Pass, where there's a standoff between federal and Texas authorities over border control. CBS's Camilo Montoya Galvez is there.
The Texas National Guard is blocking federal agents from patrolling this section of the U.S.-Mexico border near Eagle Pass. As you can see, it has been fortified with razor and concertina wire. The U.S. Supreme Court has allowed the Biden administration to remove the wire, but Texas Governor Greg Abbott has vowed to keep it in place. Some Eagle Pass residents say they are not pleased with the national attention.
I think the political fight is up in Washington, and it's at the Capitol in Texas. It's not down here.
Now, as you guys already know, there's a convoy that's trying to help out in their own way to protect our borders. Somewhere around, 700,000 truckers, as well as many other people, were a part of this thing. Now, this peaceful rally was a part of the convoy, and according to them, they wanted to shed light on the obvious dangers that an open border posed to the American people and, of course, the United States as a whole. But again, the federal government and the local Texas government, they're not exactly seeing eye to eye, which leads some to believe that this is a political issue, with others saying that this isn't political at all. They're saying that this is an American issue, one that both parties need to address together instead of apart. The convoy, though, did open up another concern. At least one of the supporters of the convoy did say that the situation at the southern border is not as bad as she feared, even though she did admit that it was surprising to see people being stopped and called the experience eye-opening. Some experts are now weighing in and are saying that this is a sign of more things to come. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, what does all this mean, right? And to put it bluntly, guys, it means that the border issues will not remain solely in Texas. This problem is bound to spread. You see, Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, he's been pushing back at the decision of the Supreme Court and is essentially challenging and defying the White House in a sense, given that he doesn't want to do what they're being told, which means that Texas is most probably sending more of these people home.
The state of Texas continued adding razor wire along the southern border despite a U.S. Supreme Court order earlier this week.
And on Monday, the High Court threw out a lower court decision. It means federal agents can resume cutting razor wire, but Governor Abbott says the state will keep adding more wire, saying the state's constitutional right to defend itself outweighs federal law. Fox 4's Blake Hansen joins us now with the very latest in the dispute between Texas and the federal government. Blake.
Yeah, Heather and Steve, razor wire is just one of multiple issues where the federal government and the state are at odds and in the courts over border security. New video Wednesday shows the Texas Military Department beefing up razor wire installations in Eagle Pass along the border southwest of San Antonio. The security efforts continuing despite a setback at the U.S. Supreme Court Monday. The court, in a 5-4 ruling, vacated a lower court decision that blocked federal agents from cutting razor wire. The feds argued its agents need access to patrol the border and help migrants in need. But the state says it's essential to security and will discourage risky crossings away from legal entry points.
Texas is doing putting every measure in place to prevent that, to try to discourage that. But yet at the federal level, the federal government has not done anything as far as trying to discourage illegal immigration, especially those that want to cross a dangerous river.
This is why some actually saw the issues here to be better than expected. However, Texas isn't the only place that illegal immigrants are trying to enter in through. So, like I said a second ago, the concern for people coming in is also being raised in other states, California, Arizona, and Colorado. So what's happening exactly, right? Well, as far as we know, some migrants are either coming through Texas and are are traveling to these states themselves, or they're directly going to them as there's less confrontation when they get there. But the problem in Colorado is that they seem to be reaching their limit.
All right, thanks to Ashley there. Mayor Mike Johnston warning that Denver is nearing a breaking point in the migrant crisis. More than 3,800 being sheltered right now and more than 38,000 helped in the last year. Well, new tonight, Mayor Johnston saying that the city is considering putting a pause on taking in more migrants in an interview on KOA Radio. Take a listen.
You know, we are considering it. We have to consider all options, particularly if there isn't any help from the federal government. 5,000 folks here, it is impossible to just serve the folks that are here effectively when every day there's hundreds more that arrive. And so we want to do right by the folks that are here, and it's almost impossible to do that with the current volume of new folks arriving.
With Colorado contemplating if they should accept more people in, that leaves California and Arizona, but both states that offer warm weather. And this is why it's not surprising to see that more and more groups of people are trying to get into the United States through these two particular states. In fact, sources inside the U.S. Customs and Border Protection reported that out of the illegal immigrants that they've apprehended recently, 71.8% were either in Arizona or California. So this has caused the number in Texas Del Rio sector to plummet, and this is probably what the convoy is seeing. So it's not that the problem's going away, it's that the problem is, for lack of a better term, it's migrating to other states. So just to give you an idea as to how differently it is recently, back in December, Texas's sector, which includes Eagle Pass, it was seeing at least 3,000 to 4,000 illegal crossings per day. Now that number has fallen to around 200 on average. So yes, that is a huge difference. So while everybody's focused on Texas, we're actually forgetting that it's not impossible to get in through other states so long as you have the money or are willing to make the trek. Now, if you mix this in with Mexico now stopping more migrants from boarding trains and Texas locking down even harder, you would see how other states will now be handling this problem moving forward. So now let's talk about the big elephant in the room, shall we? And that is, this entire crisis is causing misunderstandings between Americans right here at home. Now, I've heard some people saying that we're not seeing eye to eye when it comes to what's happening at our borders. The problem is that one misunderstanding can lead to a huge problem. I mean, look at this. It says here that the FBI is warning people about an extremist threat. It's now at a point where migrants are being evacuated from shelters. So we talked about the convoy a second ago, right? The Take Our Borders Back convoy? Yeah, that one. Now, as you guys saw, it was peaceful, and they were just voicing their concerns as they're saying that, keeping the border open would pose a threat to Americans in all states. Law enforcement, though, are warning that outside groups, meaning people who are not really a part of the convoy, would use their presence in areas close to processing centers and take advantage of the situation. And so this raises the concern that this could all potentially snowball into like one big civil war between Americans. And again, this is something that we do not want to see, because as we saw, this convoy was just there to raise a concern and have the voices be heard. It obviously was not out there to try to hurt or harm people. But again, I'm gonna leave the judgment to you guys. So let me know what you guys think about this. Now, as for me, I'm gonna keep giving you guys the information as it comes. I'm gonna keep you guys informed every single day of the week. If you appreciate the updates, definitely hit the like button for the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Take care and be safe.